So hello and welcome to Daily Space for today, September 11th, 2019. I am your host, Annie Wilson, and because it's a Wednesday and because it's me, we've got rocket news. So we're going to do this a little bit differently, and I owe Dave, apparently a bunch of cookies, because Dave is mostly responsible for the slides today, so huge shout out to Dave. He is amazing, and yeah. Thank you, Dave. Because this week's a little weird. There were, I think, 0 launches in this past week. And there was supposed to be a launch today, depending on where you are in the world. And yesterday when I looked, there were no launches for this coming week. And then when I looked this morning, there are launches. So Dave was like, well, here's a bunch of empty space and I'm going to fill it for you. So to kind of break up all the things, I am leaving in the slides that we normally remove. And you will understand what I mean. So, yes, I have these little divider slides in the slides that I usually delete, but this week we're leaving them in. So first, we're going to talk about the things that are launching eventually. So, let me find my notes here. That was a very big sigh, Tink. The things that are going to be launching... Oops, I'm getting a new trackball, I promise. The things that are going to be launching eventually is the SpaceX brand new F9 booster. This is an image of the first stage of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, which was test fired August 29th at the company's test site in McGregor, Texas. The booster will launch NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley on the Crew Dragon spacecraft. And these are going to be the first humans really on a Crew Dragon SpaceX capsule, which is really cool. So there was a pad failure at the first Crew Dragon capsule back on April 20th, and it's the same capsule which successfully launched on an unmanned, uncrewed Demo 1 cargo mission to the ISS and then returned safely to Earth. And so far it looks like SpaceX appears to be on track for an uncrewed in-flight abort test mission in October or November using the company's second flight-ready Crew Dragon. And yeah, this is super cool. The timing of it hasn't been announced, but the actual Demo 2 crew mission to the ISS, but it will follow sometime after that in-flight abort test using a third flight-ready capsule. Why a third? Because reasons, that's why. The cause of the April test pad failure was eventually traced back to a failed check valve in the capsule's fuel system, which allowed the fuel and oxidizer to mix in the lines leading from the tanks to the engines, which power up during an emergency abort. SpaceX was hopeful that it could... I spared all of your ears. I did my best to spare all of your ears. By the way, if you want a clean recording of this, that's gonna happen after I finish this. So Cheerios for the dogs. And make it rain! Alright. Okay. So So back, where was I? I was talking about the fuel in the oxidizer, which mixed in the lines, leading from the tanks to the engines, which power up during emergency abort. SpaceX was hopeful that it could replace the industry-standard burst discs with reusable check valves, but given the checkered history of those valves and rocketry as a whole, this one incident was apparently enough for them to go with the one-time use discs, which means they're either not going to be able to reuse the capsules, or they're going to actually have to replace those discs. These act as solid barriers, completely preventing the flow of liquid in the line until the pressure exceeds the disc rating. At that point, it bursts, allowing free flow of the liquid, but requiring that the discs must at least be tested or replaced after every use of the capsule, even if the emergency abort wasn't activated. So there we go. Oof, 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 oof. Yeah. So they weren't quite able to use the whole, okay, let's not go in and futz with these valves, but better safe than sorry. Much better safe than sorry. So, whew, all right. That's that. And here is a picture of Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley in their SpaceX spacesuits during a joint training exercise in July inside the Operations and Checkout building at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. So yeah, Refs Matt, I wasn't gonna let that through, but okay. Yeah. These spacesuits are, as Starstrider says, they look something out of a 1950s comic. They look both 1950s and kind of futuristic. It's definitely a departure of the suits that we're used to seeing, you know, with the Soyuz crews, with the space shuttle. They're very monochrome and they're very sleek looking. So, oh, Starstrider says they are Disney styled. Hey, do you have a problem with the Disney styled suits? That's what I thought. So yeah. Raven Lillian says, just got here. What are these suits for? These are the actual SpaceX spacesuits. Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley are posing in them. They are going to be the first humans on the SpaceX, crewed craft. So yeah, these are very sleek Disney styled kind of suits. Those boots though, they do look like they're wearing wellies, Dr. Pamela. They really do. These boots though. Anyways, there's that. So Disney princess astronauts coming, maybe, or the original Doctor Who. I could see that. I could see these being from the original Doctor Who. And they do have an American flag on one shoulder, and it's kind of hard to see, but they have a SpaceX logo on the other shoulder. So they might be adjustable Paranor. I'm really not sure. I can't get over these boots. They look like wellies. I don't know if these are actually pressurized. They might not need to be pressurized. I guess it all depends. Planetary Pan asks, who is in the suits? Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley. I unfortunately don't know who is who. I'm going to assume that it's left to right. So, yeah. Don't. I've heard enough of your comments about these suits. Anyways, Planetary Pan adds, would have been nice to see a woman in this suit. Yeah. I agree, and I don't know when the first female SpaceX astronaut is going to happen. But these are, as Arnstro says, actual NASA astronauts. And for those of you that aren't aware, NASA does have kind of a odd history with female astronauts. So Yeah, and Veronica Kier says, I hope they come in all sizes. I really don't know what the sizes are going to be or not. Oh, Michael T. Meyer says that Boeing got the woman. Okay. So, yeah. Midtown says, sounds like Annie needs to get in gear and become an astronaut. No. No. Not happening. No. Nope. 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 I would not be surprised if astronauts have to meet physical fitness standards, which would be why, the suits are, only in certain sizes. So, there we go. Star Strider says there are allowed sizes for astronauts, min and max, minimum and maximum heights, and required fitness levels. So, Veronica Kier adds 180 pounds is astronaut weight goal. I'm assuming that's for a dude, not for a woman. NDAs. Non-disclosure agreement? I mean, if that's why we don't know anything about these suits, then yes, NDAs are a pain. So, yeah. Yeah, here are the suits. They're, I just can't get over those boots. I can't get over those boots. I just can't get over those boots. All right. So moving on. So now we're going to talk about the things that launched and then landed. So this is an image of the Soyuz MS-14 spacecraft as it departed the International Space Station. The MS-14 capsule, which had Skybot aboard, made a rare nighttime automated landing on Friday, 2132 UTC, after a dramatic series of docking events and a week and a half of testing the humanoid remote-controlled robot. Dave, unfortunately, did not add if Skybot went back down on MS-14 or if Skybot is still there, and I didn't look it up. So my apologies. And the whole dramatic series of docking events, hey, I know you have strong feelings about the docking too. So, Skybot did return. Okay, I will have to make a note of that. So the docking thing was, there are 3 or 4 places for a spacecraft to dock, and some of them are set up for automatic docking with Soyuz and Progress capsules, which are almost essentially the same thing. Progress just carries cargoes, Soyuz carries passengers. This time they treated, Skybot as if he were a passenger, but, there were no life support systems that I know of, or at least no toilet, I think, because Skybot didn't need a toilet. But for whatever reason, MS-14 couldn't automatically dock. So the other, I think there were 2 other Soyuz capsules. There was this intricate ballet of readjusting craft on docking ports to open up a spot where Soyuz 14 could actually dock. So, yeah. There's that. So that's what, I mean by the dramatic series of docking events. It just couldn't dock right away. Arnstro adds it was a failure of the Kurz docking system on the port it tried to dock with, which I vaguely remember talking about it before. It landed in the designated area in the steppes of Kazakhstan. Thanks, Larry. Veronica Kier asks, is there a Dragon SpaceX dock? There's actually a universal docking adapter thing. I think adapter is the correct word. There's a universal docking, and let's just call it docking adapter. So everybody has to be able to international docking adapter. Thank you, DPI. Everybody has to be able to essentially dock with that. So docking is kind of standardized to a point where everybody can use the same docking adapter. At least I think that's in the long run. As far as I know, there really isn't an issue with like Cygnus and Dragon docking in the same spots where, for example, the Soyuz goes, because they're all working on making sure everybody can dock at every available port. So, yeah. And RefSmat adds in the common berthing mechanism for the craft that need Canada arm to be grabbed and berthed, because Cygnus can't dock itself. It has to be berthed. And I think Dragon capsules also have to be berthed. By docking, it means it doesn't need any assistance from Canada arm. Berthing means it needs some assistance. It just can't go there on their own. Fenmil asks, didn't they just install the adapter a couple weeks ago? I know that would be up. I know they sent one up. But I'm not sure if it's been installed. That may have had to have been a spacewalk. I can't remember. Oh, and the HTV, that also has to be berthed, as TPI points out. And that's the Japanese cargo vessel, which we don't talk a whole lot about because Japan doesn't do a whole lot of launches. So, yeah. And Canada Arm is amazing, and it's responsible for the births of the space station crew. Cool. Is this the ESA? This is the ESA ATX done? I don't know. Veronica Kukira asks, does this mean there should be laptop berthing instead of docking? I mean, I guess that is true, and I guess I should change my language. I guess I should change my language. Argenster says, berthing is for the things that can't dock on their own. Only Soyuz and Progress modules can dock, and only on the 2 ports on the Russian module. So, okay. Yeah. Not everyone can dock everywhere. Apparently, the Russian crafts have to dock on the Russian portion, and everyone else. So yes, we're going to get to that, RefSmat. RefSmat says the Japanese HTV was scheduled to launch yesterday, but there was a fire on the launch pad. That's actually the next story, and this is a good segue. So let's talk about the things that did not go to space today. The things that did not go to space today. There was an attempt. So a JAXA, that's Japan Space Agency, H-2 Bravo rocket was scheduled to launch the HTV, that's Hotel Tango Victor -8 mission on Tuesday, September 10th at 21:33 UTC, 9:33 p.m. UTC, on what would have been the 10th anniversary of the first, I'm going to call it stork launch, because even though y'all have worked with me with my pronunciation, I still can't think of it on the fly. So, what happened? There was a fire, and this is an image taken from NVS, and I apologize, I don't remember what that stands for, of the rocket on the pad being hosed down. This image was taken in either the twilight hours or just after dawn. I'm really not sure. A fire broke out on the pad at 3:05 a.m. Japan time and was continuously combated until, the early twilight hours. And, yeah, you can this isn't the greatest photo, but this was the best photo I could find that could be freely used. But there is, let me see if I can get my pointer out. So there is, make sure this is showing up. There is here one stream of water, and here is another stream of water. So there's 2 streams of water being aimed at the SRBs, which are right here at the bottom. SRBs stand for strap-on rocket boosters. Get all your jokes out now. And the thing that the entire rocket, so this is the entire rocket, the thing that the entire rocket is sitting on is actually a mobile launcher. And the fire was in the mobile launcher under the rocket. So, yeah, but they had a live stream of all the rocket preparations before launch, and it caught the fires. So a bunch of us were watching, the fire last night. Let me pull up my notes again. So it was one of those anticlimactic things of there was no launch. We watched the press conference instead, which was entirely in Japanese. So if you understand Japanese, go ahead and watch the video on demand. Watch the YouTube archive if it's up already, and, watch it there. So I showed you the image of where the streams are pointed. I've showed you the image of the rocket on the pad. And we've talked about how the fire was actually under the rocket on the mobile launcher. And this is a picture of the mobile launcher without the rocket on. It's probably an older photo. The red circle at the very bottom, it circles kind of this pointy, uppy white part. And I guess there's a hole under that somewhere. And the fire was in the hole. I don't know what the hole was used for. I don't know what caught on fire. There wasn't a whole lot of information at the press conference that was in English. As Fenmill says, it was literally a fire in the hole. And I guess on the live stream, people were talking about how they saw a flash. And then there was a very quick response by the fire team standing by, and they literally did hose down the SRBs and to get the water into the hole under the rocket for hours just to put it out. So, yeah, this is why it didn't go to space. There's been no new launch date announced. It is way too early because the teams from both JAXA, Japan Space Agency, and Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, the people who actually built the rocket, both of these teams need to go to the site and inspect the equipment, the SRBs, the mobile launcher, the rocket, all the connecting things. They need to do a whole bunch of inspections to figure out A, what started the fire, B, is there any damage, C, if there is damage, what needs to be repaired. This was a very serious event, but there were no reported injuries. I'm not sure how the dogs feel about this. The health of the rocket, the SRBs, and the mobile launcher are unknown at this time. We may get an update, we may not. I don't know. This rocket may go up within the next few days. It may not go up for another couple of months. So just stay tuned. We'll figure it out. Or not, we won't figure it out. I'll let you know. Are you done? I know you're upset about the things that didn't go to space, but are you done? Okay. Can I continue? Thank you. So, the next thing we're going to talk about are the things that didn't go so well, only worse. And here's something we haven't talked about for a while, simply because there's been no information. So first up, this is an image of Giuliano Ronzo, the CEO of Avio, as he discusses the outcome of the Vega launch failure investigation, and he's standing in front of the forward dome of the Zefiro? We're going to go with Zefiro. 23 rocket motor at the rocket's factory in Italy. So investigators announced on Monday that they've narrowed the cause of the Vega launch failure on July 10th to the upper stage solid rocket motor. They believe that the hot gases, we're talking around 3,000 degrees Celsius, released by the burning solid fuel mixture was somehow able to come in contact with the domed structure at the front of the stage in front of the motor, causing the structural failure. Oof. The CEO of Avio, the manufacturer of the Vega rocket, said it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where within the forward dome this may have happened, but the forward dome being the top cap of the motor on the opposite side of where the nozzle is, it's a fairly limited area in the motor. Therefore, there's likely a limited number of things that we need to go back and check in order to fix it. So, we have a reason, kind of. So, the Vega failure was the first after, I think it was like 14, something like 14 or 15 in that area of successful rocket launches of the Vega. This was the first failure. And it was supposed to launch the Falcon I-1, which was a United Arab Emirates recon satellite into low Earth orbit. Yeah, it was the first failure in 15 launch attempts. So there were 14 successful launches, and then this happened. So that's kind of a bummer. The mission and the satellite were insured for a total of 369 million euros, or 407 million US dollars. So, yeah, the satellite's probably going to be rebuilt. That's going to take a while. And they'll either launch it again with Arianespace, or they'll find another launch provider. It depends. Yeah, but we've waited for a while to find any sort of update about this, and I'm glad that there has been an update. So, all right. Oh, at the very bottom, there's a note from Dave. It says, in the stream, in that launch stream, because we did stream this launch, I think. We were discussing whether or not the FTS had been activated, and Dave says, let the bets be settled. The rocket's trajectory started to deviate from its expected trajectory after around 5 seconds after the second stage's thermostructure failure, and range safety officials sent a neutralization or flight termination command to the rocket at T plus 3 minutes 33 seconds. Telemetry data from the rocket confirmed it executed the flight termination command. So yes, let the bets be settled. I'm sure there were bets going on that stream. So, okay, now on to the things that will hopefully go so much better. Later this week, actually tomorrow, China is launching the BNU-1. And if this sounds familiar, it's because it is. I'll explain why I'm giggling in a second. So, there's no time announced for this launch, and there's probably not going to be a live feed because China doesn't typically live stream on either TV or the internet their launches, mostly probably out of a way to save face, security concerns, etc., etc. I mean, this way, if something goes sideways, there's not video out there for everyone to see that it went sideways right away that you can't retract. But if things went well, you can put it up later and be like, look, we successfully launched a rocket. And yeah. So if you ever know of a live China stream, let me know, because sometimes things actually do happen, and there are live streams. There are lots of Chinese tourists who actually go to the launch sites and will watch these things, record these things, and sometimes stream them. So, yeah. Anyways, so why I was giggling. So BNU-1, I thought, I had sworn this payload went up earlier this year in June. But no, somehow I got confused, or, you know, payloads were swapped out at the last minute and I didn't pay attention. What went up in June that I thought was this particular payload was actually a global navigation satellite. So my apologies, because I told you all in late June that this satellite was up and, you know, with all the other satellites in orbit. Nope. It was a global navigation satellite. So this satellite, and there's 2 other ones, are really going up this time. I promise, I think. I mean, I can only work with the data I have. BNU-1 is a polar observation small satellite. It is going to be the first remote sensing small satellite for polar observation, which is actually pretty cool. I don't have a lot of information on the other 2. The only reason why I know practically anything about BNU-1 is because BNU-1 was built at or in conjunction with Beijing Normal University. So that's why it's called BNU-1. Beijing Normal University 1, their very first satellite. And yeah, that is literally all the news I have for you today. So I know I answered a lot of questions, but I am also going to scroll back and do more questions. And while I do that, I'm going to throw some Cheerios at the dogs who were, you know, things. DPI says, not BNU-1, not to be confused with Bennu. Larry Weird asks, monitor sea levels at the North Pole? I'm not sure. Yes, Veronica, Beijing Normal University. I don't know what the normal stands for. I feel like we had this conversation before and I don't remember what it was. So, I'm gonna scroll up. I see a lot of chatter about the... I saw a lot of chatter about docking and berthing and things. Bad Pan Bear says, if I recall correctly, they brought up a special docking adapter for commercial crew. That may be the international, adapter, or everybody might be doing that one. So... That mobile launcher is not good on a 2-lane blacktop. No, it is not. Fenmill says, yeah, a solid rocket booster is not something that should be exposed to external fire, which is probably why they had the streams of water pointed at the solid rocket boosters, so they stayed wet and the water dripped down into the hole. That was probably one of the better things they could do for fire prevention. Refsmat says, Crew Dragon will dock at international docking mechanisms that are mounted on the pressurized mating adapters, not the Russian SSVP system, and not the common berthing mechanism. Right, because there's what feels like a gazillion ways for spacecraft to dock or berth at the ISS, and there's definitely different areas where it can be done at, and not every spacecraft can dock at every place or berth at every place. It's confusing, and yeah. Susie says, but we want the things to go to space. I know, but I know, but sometimes it doesn't work out. Zafiro, thank you all. Resmat says, thank you for talking about the launch Vega failure. I was watching your stream on that launch. It was upsetting. It was. Space is indeed hard. Statistically bad, or Raven Lillian asked, words are hard. Raven Lillian asked, statistically speaking, how bad or good is 14 out of 15? I think I think it's pretty good. The fact that there were 14 successes in a row probably let people get a tiny bit complacent. Complacency happens. It's very difficult to battle against. So yeah, but statistically, I think it's pretty good. 1 out of 15. That's not bad. Hey. Yeah, it was a car outside. We live on a street. We live in a city. Cars go outside. Wayne Johnson asks. Just remember, folks, if you don't want to hear the dogs, there's going to be a podcast version of this. Wayne Johnson asks, are they giving hard hats to cows? Wayne Johnson is talking about one of the previous Chinese launches where rocket debris hit a inhabited area and killed 2 cows. We will not have a cow counter. I will not show you pictures of dead cows. I know it's funny, but it's kind of not funny. I really do hope nobody's hurt with this things. Oh, Star Strider says normal originally meant educational. Oh, that's what it was. Arnstra says, the Wikis delivers an answer. The term normal school refers to an institution that aimed to train school teachers in the early 20th century. This terminology is preserved in such official names of such institutions in China, even after these schools gained university status, and expanded to offer courses beyond education-related fields. Okay. All the fires in the rocket need to go out the back. Yes, this is true. Bad Panda Bear says the Chandrayaan-2 landing was also upsetting. Yes, Dr. Pamela talked about that on Monday, and we probably won't talk about it again until we know more. And that might not be for a while. I think O'Bother mentioned in his stream yesterday that there had to be some realignment of orbits to fully capture what's been going on, because our moon isn't small. I don't know if the LRO is going to capture images or not. We may not hear anything for a few weeks. So, yeah. Cow counter. Raven Lillian says, the dog says, stop making noise, cars. We are recording. I mean, if that works. So, Paranor mentioned, the LRO will, but it takes 3 or 4 weeks before it's in position. Okay. So, that must have been what O'Bother was talking about. So, tonight is the season premiere, I guess, of Weekly Space Hangout. Paranor is going to host and ensure that it is streaming on this channel here, CosmoQuest. We found a way to make the magic happen. This will come in handy for later in the season when I am a host on Daily Space, or not on Daily Space. I am already a host on Daily Space. This will come in handy later this season when I'm a host on Weekly Space Hangout, because streaming can be hard and doing 2 things in one place can also be hard. So this is one of the ways we're trying to attempt to bring all of our content together, because we know not everybody goes on YouTube, and we know that not everybody on YouTube comes to Twitch. So there probably won't be as much interaction with the actual hosts if you're here on Twitch than there would be on YouTube, so keep that in mind. But we are going to essentially co-stream it, and Paranor is going to be all over that. So, yeah. that's actually pretty cool. We've been, as a group, we've been talking about, well, we have all of these separate things. We need to try to pull them all together. And one of the ways that we can do that is do like what we do for rocket launches and co-stream these events on Twitch. It's just right now a matter of remembering, for me, remembering that these things are happening and making sure they get scheduled. So Paranor is going to help me out with that. So I am super hyped for that. And it's pretty exciting. Paranor says that he will be in YouTube and Twitch chat. So I guess if there are questions for the hosts, it might be a good way to get questions to the hosts. I don't know. I don't know. So, but yeah, that's what's going on tonight. Tonight is going to be the season premiere of Weekly Space Hangout, and I have already forgotten what time it is. So now I'm just going to patiently wait for chat to tell me what time Weekly Space Hangout is. If you're following 8 p.m. Eastern, thank you. So that is midnight UTC on the 12th. And everybody's like, here's what it is this time. So 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain. I think that's all the U.S. time zones, excluding Hawaii and Alaska. Michael T. Meyer says, apparently ISRO's orbiter has seen the Vikram lander on the moon. It is not obviously broken, but it is lying on its side. Correct. Yeah. Guido says, that's awesome. I wish I could stay up and watch, but it's much too late for me. I know, but it'll be archived on YouTube. It'll be archived on YouTube. So that's what's going on later tonight. We have the launch that we won't be watching tomorrow. And I can't remember, is there something going on Friday? I feel like something's going on Friday. Isn't Astronomy Cast on Fridays? I can't remember. Shh. 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 It's okay, Buck. Yes, Astronomy Cast is on Fridays. So 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. So that's 7 p.m. UTC. So, yeah, and Open Space on Monday. See, there's a lot of stuff. We will work on getting all of those co-streamed over here on Twitch for all of y'all to watch. Because, why not? Hey. Why are you worried? You'll get more Cheerios out of the deal. Okay, so that's that. And now we're going to talk about Bennu real quick. And I mentioned this before I broadcasted, or started the broadcast. If you have hit the leaderboard that's 50 or more images, there should be an email in your inbox with a form. If you have not done so, please fill it out or email me. I am trying to wrangle all the addresses, and the sooner I can wrangle all the addresses, the sooner we can start packaging, and the sooner Susie can mail out your stuff. I'm trying to organize everything on my end to make Susie's life much easier. So, yeah. The less I have to harass you, the better it is for everybody. Was that it for Bennu stuff? I think that was it for Bennu stuff. Yeah, she has a dining table full of Bennu stuff. She wants that stuff off of her dining room table. So, yeah. What else? We don't know when we're doing the official we're done with Bennu stream. I need to clean off my desk before we work on more Legos again. And right now we're kind of in grant writing, other admin behind the scenes stuff, and then Hangoutathon planning. Because we're doing Hangoutathon again this year. Certificates for Bennu will come out eventually. I don't want to be marked as a spammer, so there are 3,000 of you to email. I'm not emailing all 3,000 of you in a day. I'm going to break it up. And I do need to make different certificates for different levels. I just haven't gotten that far. And I think that's all of the housekeeping stuff. I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. So, wall of text time. So, first of all, this has all been brought to you by you. So, thank you to everybody for... Susie's like, my husband wants the table cleaned off so we can play Gloomhaven again. So, thank you for all of your support, your bits, your pledges, your subscriptions, your, doing a science, your patience. Thanks for hanging out with us. These things all help. Hey! The humans are talking. If you would like a version of this that does not have me yelling at the dogs or the dogs barking or a much more just coherent news in general, there will be a version later today after I record a clean recording for all of you on the podcast feed. I do not make any promises of when that's going to happen, but it will happen today. Okay, what are the other things I need to say? So, I like the Live Madness. Raven Lillian says, I know a lot of people do like the Live Madness, but a lot of people are like, those dogs do. And I feel bad for the dogs. Oh, yeah. Look at the bits, Puck. Tinker, you stole a soul and you're not even here to enjoy it. And speak. All right. And make it rain. All right. So this has been a production of PSI, that's Planetary Science Institute, in Tucson, Arizona, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University here in Youngstown. Oh my god, I think it's still summer outside Ohio. PSI is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, which is fancy speak for your taxes, your taxes. No, your donations are tax deductible where laws allow, which, sorry, is mostly in the US. We stream Sundays through Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern. Right now that's 1700 hours UTC. Sundays is me, hi, Annie, colorizing space telescope data. And Monday through Friday is Daily Space. This, your, kind of astronomy and spacey news and sometimes rocket, news roundup thingy. Oh no, Fenmill says snows in his forecast. Oh no. And more bits! And make it rain! Let's see, what else? We archive everything on YouTube. And if you haven't given us a follow, please do, because sometimes we just go live randomly. It happens. But our schedule, 1 p.m. Eastern. Why is my phone going off? 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 hours UTC, and yeah, things and stuff. I think that's all the things. So now I'm going to awkwardly get ready to roll the credits, because that's how we, roll. Come on, computer. This is your last chance for questions. This is also a good time to suggest people to raid, because I don't know who we're going to raid. Where is it? And I found it. Awesome. I found it. It's not working. Why is it not working? There it goes. Raid Bonsai Baby. Sure. Also, our intro has a reminder that it is Subtember, thanks to Subway. That is why it is Subtember. So subs, subscriptions, not the Subway subs, are half price. I don't think that applies to gift subscriptions, but normal subscriptions are indeed half off. So yeah, we actually have a goal of 50. That includes resubs. I don't know where we're at because I didn't plug that piece of code into my layout because I fail. Alright, raid Bonsai Baby. Alright, let's do this. Bonsai. Oh, gifts would be as well. I have heard that they are not. So that is, if they are, hooray. If they're not, I'm sorry. So, okay, cool. We've got everything rolling, everything going. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for your patience. I am going to work on getting this recorded, so the podcast will be available later. So wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful insert time of day here, and I will see you soonish. Bye. No.